Hello, great people. In this video, I want to take you on a journey into the political war between the Bola Ahmed Tinubu family and the Nasir El-Rufai family. Both families were once best of friends, but now they are worst enemies. And the trouble started after the ministerial nomination of former governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, was rejected by the Nigerian Senate in alleged connivance with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And the relationship between them, their acrimony, took the worst dimension when Bashir El-Rufai, the son of the former governor of Kaduna State, called Bola Ahmed Tinubu by his most dreaded name. He haunts Bola Ahmed Tinubu with his most ugly past, which is the drug case. And what did he call Bola Ahmed Tinubu? He called him Pablo Emilio Escobar. If you don't know who Pablo Emilio Escobar is, but Emilio Escobar is the Colombian drug lord, the dreaded Colombian drug lord. You can read more about him online. And not only that, the high point is that Bashir El-Rufai, apart from calling Bola Ahmed Tinubu Pablo Emilio Escobar, he also cast aspersion on Remi Tinubu, who happens to be the first lady and wife of the president. And not only that, he praised Atiku Abubakar and Mr. Peter Obi, who happens to be the political enemies of the president. On this episode of Politics with Joshua Upload, I am taking you on a journey through the political acrimony between the Tinubu family and the Nasir El-Rufai family. Then we'll be dissecting the issues. Why is Bashir El-Rufai acting the way he's acting, and how will all this likely to end, and what is the implication of the action and the acrimony between the Tinubu family and Nasir El-Rufai family for 2027? We'll be dissecting all this and a whole lot more on this episode with your show plug, Dr. Omosholadeji. First, let me tell you that Bashir El-Rufai is one courageous person in the sense that he leaves no stone unturned. Anytime he wants to come for Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he will do it in a manner that even the Tinubu boys will feel very ashamed, and it will hit them very hard. And let me read to you what Bashir El-Rufai said that warrants this particular video, his latest outburst against President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I will read part of it to you, then we'll go back memory lane to look at the aspersions that Bashir El-Rufai has cast on Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Then we'll now read the full aspersion that he just cast on the president. Now, part of his statement now is, he said, Obi as a flag bearer with a strong northern candidate would defeat Pablo, that's Pablo Emilio Escobar, is referring to Bola Ahmed Tinubu, on election day before our dear mother of the nation, Auntie Remi, finishes his breakfast around 12 noon. Now, the key word in this particular statement is Pablo. That means that you are calling President Bola Ahmed Tinubu a drug lord, Pablo Emilio Escobar. This is not the first time. Let us go to history. Let us see what history says about the action of Bashir El-Rufai to Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Some of the things that he has said. It was reported in February 13, 2025. February 13, 2025, it was reported that Bashir El-Rufai stated, according to People's Gazette, that Pablo Escobar will make biggest mistake if Tinubu government arrest my father, says Bashir El-Rufai. So that means that February 13, 2025, that's just a few months ago, he called Bola Ahmed Tinubu Pablo Escobar again, the Colombian drug lord. Now let us continue into the statement of Bashir El-Rufai, and now it brings in Mr. Peter Obi and Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. Don't forget that we are looking at three persons and Bashir El-Rufai's reaction to them and what will happen in 2027. Now, in a post, Bashir El-Rufai, one Christopher Ogbeinama says, hope you will not talk rubbish about Peter Obi again. And Bashir El-Rufai responded that, I now love Peter Obi. I am now allowed to change my mind, Abi, and say Peter Obi. Then he continued again. He said, when other so-called activists and influencers were violating their own loyalties to those that helped them become who they now are, everyone argued we are allowed to change our views with new information. Oh yeah, me too, don't change. Oh yeah, me too, my view don't change. Say Obi, Inshallah. And you know that if an Hausa Fulani man adds Inshallah to something, that means that he is not only expressing his wish, he is also calling God to stamp his wish and to make it happen. Now, let us go to another instance as regards Bashir El-Rufai, and in a post here that I was able to dig out from the archives. Bashir El-Rufai, mind you, all these posts were after the 2023 presidential election, because it is of public knowledge that his father, Nasir El-Rufai, something stood against the candidacy of Peter Obi in the 2023 presidential election. He worked for Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Now, in this post, Bashir El-Rufai says Peter Obi is surprisingly not a bad person. After all, he's surprisingly not a bad person after all. My views on him have changed recently. My mind was poisoned by my former party members, say Obi, a great potential president or vice president. That is according to Bashir El-Rufai. I've given you 3 instances. Now let us go to the latest one, the recent one. I said I'm going to read it in full. On this one, in this one, he mentioned Atiku Abubakar. He gave him his flowers, he gave him some accolades, he praised Peter Obi, and then derided Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his wife Oluremi Tinubu. And I read, it says Atiku is a force to be reckoned with. He also feels the stars are finally aligned in his favor. And although 2019 is thought to have been his best shot, this may be one of those moments meets the man. However, the sheer force of Obi's numbers and cult-like followership brings a challenge. His appeal across the youth and this younger generation is one profound aspect of his leverage. Obi as a flag bearer with a strong northern candidate, underline, with a strong northern candidate, and I'm coming to that in a moment, would defeat Pablo on election day before our dear mother of the nation, Auntie Remi, finishes his breakfast around 12 noon. First, how do you know that Bola Ahmed Tinubu usually eats breakfast around 12 noon? But that is the words of Bashir El-Rufai as regards the aspiration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu to return as the president of Nigeria in 2027. Now, what can we point to? What are the issues? Why is Nasir El-Rufai kind of like speaking against Bola Ahmed Tinubu? Well, I will tell you the popular one, which is the one that everybody already know that, okay, his father was praised by Bola Ahmed Tinubu before the election. Bola Ahmed Tinubu nominated his father as minister, but surprisingly, his father's nomination was rejected by the Senate on account of a security report from the office of the DSS and National Security Advisor, and Bola Ahmed Tinubu failed to intervene, despite widely believed that he has the power to intervene. That is what majority of Nigerians know. But from this post of El-Rufai, and that's why I went into the history to dig out some of the things that he had been saying. What are the words unsaid? Now, let us move from the minister or no minister issue. Let us dive further into the issue, which is that I hope, and I just hope, that Bashir El-Rufai's support is not for something. Bashir El-Rufai's sudden love, sudden support, sudden declaration for Peter Obi, I hope it is not for something, which is that hope it is not to achieve a predetermined end. I hope that Bashir El-Rufai is just speaking just because he loves Peter Obi, just because he thinks that, oh, Peter Obi is the best that can happen to Nigeria in 2027, not to achieve a predetermined end, which is for his father, Nasir El-Rufai, to be the vice presidential candidate to Mr. Peter Obi. I hope that is not the game that Bashir El-Rufai is playing, because if you look at it, you may want to imagine where did the sudden love for Mr. Peter Obi came from. So I hope that his support is not for something, and I hope that it is not to achieve that predetermined end, which is for his father to emerge as the vice president of Nigeria alongside Mr. Peter Obi in the 2027 presidential election. But the problem is, if it is that okay, his support is for something, that he wants his father to be VP, the problem is, like his father, hope he too would not change the music if his desire doesn't come to pass. Like his father, change the music as regards the potency of Bola Ahmed Tinubu to govern Nigeria right, and now he's attacking Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Oh, Bashir too will not change the music if he doesn't realize his aim of his father emerging as the vice president to Mr. Peter Obi. If Mr. Peter Obi decide to pick another northerner, oh, Bashir will still keep his support for Mr. Peter Obi alive. So, like his father, because they usually say like father, like son. I hope that Bashir will not change the music if they definitely things doesn't go in favor of his father. But what I can tell you from my lens as a political scientist is that, you see, nobody loves Peter Obi amongst all these politicians. Nobody loves Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Nobody truly loves Atiku Abubakar. What they love is themselves, their ambition, and what they have to, or what they can get from politicians when they are able to gain power. So if Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the president, most of the people are around him love him because of what they can get from him. Same for Peter Obi if he emerges as president. Same for Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. I think right now most of them are aligning with Obi, not because they truly love him, but because they have seen in him that, oh, this guy has this presidential potential to emerge as the #1 citizen of Nigeria. And they're also aligning with them. They're also aligning with Peter Obi because Bola Ahmed Tinubu did not treat them well. That's why they're aligning with Mr. Peter Obi. If Bola Ahmed Tinubu have treated them well in the according to their own definition of being treated well. For instance, if Bola Ahmed Tinubu have made El-Rufai a powerful minister in his cabinet, El-Rufai will be one of those that will be tackling Mr. Peter Obi today. And there are other issues which we'll be treating on another episode. And that's why, if you are yet to subscribe, of course, do well to subscribe to this channel. On when any other issue of Nasir El-Rufai and Peter Obi, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, when it comes up, we'll be looking at, is El-Rufai a good vice presidential choice for Mr. Peter Obi in the 2027 election? Then at another time, we'll be also looking at, can El-Rufai be Peter Obi's vice presidential candidate without Alhaji Atiku Abubakar's support? We'll be looking at the role and relevance of Atiku Abubakar, and also, will Atiku trust El-Rufai again to allow him to become the vice president? Because Atiku brought El-Rufai into politics, but then he crossed over to the Buhari camp and he attacked Atiku Abubakar when Atiku Abubakar was contesting against Muhammadu Buhari, the late immediate past president. So these are some of the issues that we'll be looking at another time. So do well to subscribe, turn on your notification button, catch up with my past video. See you in my next video. I love you all sincerely.